Try it.
Well, folks, we got a couple stories for you today dealing with two of Nintendo's biggest franchises. Of course, we're talking about Pokemon because this week, Thursday, we have a Pokemon Presents, and we have a brand new rumor surrounding a reveal of a game at that Pokemon Presents. But setting that aside, and what might be more exciting for some of you non-Pokemon fans is Mario's 40th anniversary. And we have another rumor. I stress the rumor part around Mario's 40th anniversary. And this part of the rumor deals with Nintendo Switch 2, so there will be a Switch 2 sort of thing here. But before we do that, let's talk about the thing we actually know 100% for sure is happening, and that is the Pokemon Presents. And before we do, just a reminder, we're on the road to 150,000 subscribers. If you're enjoying all this news, I'd appreciate if you subscribe to the channel. And let's go ahead and go over to TechCrawler over here, who says Leaker supposedly teases a new Pokemon multiplayer game ahead of the Pokemon Presents with a cryptic image. So scroll down here, it says a leak has emerged ahead of this week's Pokemon Presents, which will take place on Pokemon Day, February 27th. It is expected that we will get a major reveal of Pokemon Legends ZA, possibly along with details about a 2025 Pokemon game starters. So I'm assuming the starters for the game, right? But that's not all. There could be more surprises in store. Who knows? Announcement of a new multiplayer game. These blank spaces, by the way, are due to ad block, so you're welcome. Pioro, a Nintendo leaker, posted a picture of a Synapse on social media, which might be a hint. Why is Synapse? Well, last year, a Game Freak data breach revealed files related to a game called Pokemon Synapse, which also described as a new multiplayer Pokemon spin-off. According to the leaked info, the game is being developed by both Game Freak and ILCA. And here it is, potential huge leak. No leaker Pioro has posted a picture of a Synapse. As you may know, Synapse is a codename of a new multiplayer spin-off game developed by ILCA and Game Freak, potentially being revealed this week. Now, the thing is, we don't actually know what this game is outside of the multiplayer aspect, but it's important to note that while the leak seems to point towards a new multiplayer Pokemon game, it's still speculation.
So that Pokemon tactic shit, right? I'm assuming that's what the little chest, the auto chest. I'm assuming that's what is coming to the game, bro. That's all I see that nigga Chris Hero play. He don't play nothing else except for that motherfucking game mode. So like, what the fuck? Like, that's what they bringing, bro? Like, is that some shit to do in Q? Is that just part of the game now? Like, I don't see that nigga playing that shit at all, bro. Then the Spraggles only do the TCG shit. That nigga Chris Hero's playing the chess version, and it's all in Chinese. So I'm assuming he found a way to VPN and get on the Chinese version. So like, damn, like nigga, the game dead like that for real.
Fierro has a track record of being right sometimes and wrong at others. He's right way the hell more than he's wrong. He's only wrong like twice. So it's hard to say for sure. Still, the idea of a new multiplayer game isn't far-fetched, given that Pokemon Go and Pokemon TCG Pocket have done well, even though traditional multiplayer titles have struggled to take off in the past. At the time of writing, there's been no official comment from Nintendo, Game Freak, or ILCA on the matter, because of course not. They literally have a Pokemon Presents this week, and it's unclear if they ever will. We'll keep you updated if anything happens. Pokemon Synapse might be exactly what fans have been hoping for in terms of traditional multiplayer experience, but only time will tell it again. It's not a game where you know a ton of information from the Terra League, other than it's multiplayer, it was in development. Okay, cool. So, we'll have to wait and see. If I had to guess, it's probably a Switch 1 game, and it's probably intended to come out this year to kind of pair alongside Pokemon Legends ZA. That is just my guess, of course. I know some people are going to speculate, oh, maybe it's for Switch 2, but we have to remember that Game Freak and the Pokemon Company, they're always late to the party when it comes to new hardware for Nintendo. So I would suspect that this is obviously a Switch 1 game, and just going to be something to pair along with, well, obviously Pokemon Legends ZA this year. So we'll see what happens, of course. I know a lot of people out there are hoping for more Pokemon remakes or remasters and all that. Black and White seems to be one tossed around pretty often from fans. So we'll have to wait and see. Obviously, Generation 10 was in the Terra League as well. That's supposedly going to be holiday next year, at least based on what was in the Terra League from last year. But, you know, things could change. Who really knows? Other than the Pokemon Company, Game Freak, and Nintendo. That being said, that's pretty exciting stuff. I'm not the biggest, like, Pokemon knowledge base over here, so I can't really give much more thoughts than just that surface level stuff. But what I can give some thoughts on is the Mario franchise, because, look, it is the 40th anniversary of Mario this year. That means next year is the 40th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda. We actually just had, on February 21st, the 39th anniversary of The Legend of Zelda. Fun little fact about that. Anyways, I want to actually double up the 40th, because we have a new rumor popping up. And again, I have to stress the word rumor. But it's still fun to talk about, because I do think something's going to happen for Mario's 40th. I just don't know what, and maybe this is it. So, new Super Mario games could be coming to Nintendo Switch 2 this year. Now, no shocker there, right? 3D Mario, Mario Kart. Like, those are the ones we expect, right? So, okay, so why are we even talking about this? We already expect that. Well, let's get into it. So, it says, Nintendo fans may have more to look forward to than just a new Mario Kart on the upcoming Nintendo Switch 2. Only a handful of games have been confirmed for the new console, pretty much indie titles. Fresh rumors suggest that multiple Super Mario titles could be in development for release this year. The speculation comes from an important time. The speculation comes at an important time. 2025 marks the 40th anniversary of Super Mario Bros., which first launched in 1985. While Mario himself first appeared in Donkey Kong in 1981 and started Mario Bros. In 1983, it wasn't until Super Mario Bros. That he became the face of Nintendo. So far, Nintendo has been quiet about any major anniversary celebrations, but a rumor from Instagram user Mr. Nintendad hints that something special is in the works. The post claims that Nintendo is planning a Super Mario 40th anniversary project alongside the Nintendo Switch 2. So here it is. This is obviously just an image that the fan made, Nintendad. Again, he's saying that he's the source that everyone is focused in Switch 2. However, rumor is that Nintendo is also working on Mario's 40th anniversary celebration as well. What do you think Nintendo will do for the 40th anniversary? It's kind of interesting because he's saying that he's the source. Now, I want to give just a couple thoughts here, and this is no offense to Mr. Nintendad. I don't know who he is. I've had a few of his rumors linked to me, and I've never covered him before because none of them had come true, for starters. Now, he's only been doing the rumor thing for a few months, so it hasn't been time for a lot of this stuff to come true. But also, they seem very random like this. Like this one's just saying, hey, while we're talking about Switch 2, Nintendo's actually working on stuff for the 40th anniversary of Mario. And then when Nintendo does do something for the 40th anniversary, he can go, see, I knew, I had a source. And it's like, yeah, but you didn't tell us what is happening. You know what? Like, there's no exact details here. It's just saying Nintendo's going to do something. Man, what a big prediction that Nintendo is going to do something for Mario's 40th anniversary? The literal mascot of the whole company? No. Are you kidding me? They're going to do something? Like, of course they're going to do something. Mario Kart 9 will probably be touted as part of that celebration. The new 3D Mario will probably be touted as part of that celebration. Maybe they even do something crazy. And I don't know. Do we call this crazy? But I can see for Nintendo Switch 1, because again, those two things I just talked about are for Switch 2. Switch 1 has to get something. How would folks feel if they released Mario Galaxy 2 HD and or Mario Galaxy 2 like remake or remaster, and they charge like $60? How would people feel about that? Because remember, we had 3D All-Stars for the 35th anniversary, but that was like a FOMO thing, and it was just emulating games. What if they went the extra mile with the 2, and they actually remastered it, giving it some new features and maybe even new content, and dropped that bad boy on Switch 1 this year? How would folks feel about that? I mean, look, obviously Nintendo's in this mode. We've had Xenoblade Chronicles X coming out next month. We just recently had Donkey Kong Country Returns HD. So, I mean, this kind of fits the mold of what Nintendo's doing here towards the end of the generation, having another remake or remaster of a beloved game. By the way, a lot of people would love for Galaxy 2 to be on Switch. Let alone Switch 2, but it'll be on Switch through the backwards compatibility on Switch. But again, this is just my speculation. One thing I hate about rumors like this is the rumor is just Nintendo's going to do something. Well, probably, yeah, because they've done things for the 35th, for the 30th, for the 25th, for the 20th. Every 5 years for Mario, they've done. Let me tell you, there'll probably be some 40th anniversary Mario Lego. Well, I'll just throw that out there. At least I'm giving some substance here. Maybe there's going to end up being something happening at all of the theme parks. Right? They're going to have 3 theme parks open across the world. I wouldn't be surprised to do some sort of celebration there where they have like a special parade or something, right? I wouldn't be surprised if maybe they release a soundtrack that we can purchase or something, right? Like Nintendo can do a lot of different things. They can go crazy with the merch at their stores and that's the thing. Like, yeah, Nintendo's probably going to do something, and it sounds like Mario's going to be heavily leaned on at the beginning of the Switch 2 generation with a 3D Mario expected and a Mario Kart game already shown off. So I kind of feel like this is just obvious. I think all of us Nintendo fans figure Nintendo's going to do something, and we probably don't even have to wait long. March 10th, that's Mario Day. A lot of people suspect Nintendo might do announcements on that day. There could be T-shirts and a whole bunch of other stuff. Maybe a new special edition Game & Watch sort of thing like they did for Zelda's 35th anniversary. Of course, sadly, that was all they did for Zelda's 35th anniversary, but I digress. The point is, Nintendo's going to do something, and that's pretty much all this rumor states. Everyone's focused on Switch over. Rumor is, Nintendo is also working on Mario's 40th anniversary celebration as well. Source, Mr. Nintendo. And this is from Mr. Nintendo with no additional details, right? And you can look at his hashtags, of course, if you want to try to get some hints. See Super Mario, Mario Bros. Nintendo, Nintendo Switch, Luigi, Yoshi. You just see like all the major characters, Mario Kart Tour, which we know Nintendo's not doing anything with that. Mario Kart 8 Deluxe, right? Like, these are just random hashtags to get attention. So, anyways, the point is, something could happen, something may happen. I just don't know what. So give me your thoughts on what you think this Pokemon Synapse game is down below, and if you think we'll see it this week. How excited are you for the potential of Legends EA as well this week? And then beyond that, what do you think Nintendo will actually do with some substance here? What do you actually think Nintendo's going to do for the 40th of Mario? Because surely this is their mascot. They're going to do something. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I will catch you in the next video.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Newswave. Well, it looks like we do have a Sony State of Play to look forward to later on this afternoon. And wouldn't you know it, looks like some of the announcements are already leaking out online. We're going to go over that as well as some of my thoughts around what we could see there here today. Also, we're going to be talking about another PlayStation 5 bundle. This one, though, seems to be tapping the Game of the Year award. And Capcom was asked about the Switch 2, specifically with Monster Hunter Wilds. And the response is a bit hard to believe. So if you guys enjoy these videos, make sure you hit that like button. Helps out a ton. And if you're new here to the Spawn Wave channel, make sure you subscribe down below. And of course, members for the channel do get Newswave early. If you would like to learn more about that, click the join button down below. And we're going to start today with Kojima, Death Stranding 2, and South by Southwest. While I do think we could see Death Stranding 2 during that State of Play later on today, and maybe have a release date there, it does look like more information will be going actually in March 9th at the South by Southwest show, which we can see this posted up. This is over on Kojima's website, saying Kojima Productions, in collaboration with PlayStation, will host the Death Stranding 2 on the Beach special panel at South by Southwest 2025 Festival in Austin, Texas on March 9th. At the special panel, Hideo Kojima will discuss and share new details about Death Stranding 2 on the Beach, the upcoming sequel to the critically acclaimed Death Stranding video game, arriving exclusively on PlayStation 5 later this year. Now, this is taking place 4 p.m. Central Time, so 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and I assume this is going to be, yes, him kind of sitting down and discussing things, and we've seen previously with Kojima, we'll have like different voice actors and actresses there with them discussing some of the roles and things that they really experienced throughout the production of it, and I assume we'll have new footage, trailer, gameplay, a lot of the stuff I'm sure completely out of context. So who knows exactly what he'll show up with here, but after experiencing the first Death Stranding game, I assume this one's also going to be out there and off-the-wall weird, so looking forward to see what they have in store for us there, but most likely we can look forward to maybe getting that release date later this afternoon. Also, we should be hearing from Sony about the PlayStation Plus Extra and Premium tiers, especially those classic games, and it looks like one in particular, it's gotten out there a bit earlier, we can see this posted up. This is from Gamatsu, saying looks like Patapon 3 is coming to PS5 and PS4 via PSP emulation, which, as they mentioned, you should be seeing that PlayStation Plus game catalog, classics catalog, be announced later on today, 11:30 a.m. Eastern Time. So Patapon 3, I guess, is set up here, just based on the website here with the different patches for the PlayStation Store. So with Patapon, my experience was I played the first one on the PSP back in the day, and it was such a unique, interesting experience with that rhythm, 2D like action sort of game. And really after that, I kind of fell out. I know it was Patapon 2 and obviously Patapon 3. So I think this would be a lot of fun to go back and check this one out, especially since I already have the premium service, so it'll just kind of drop in there. And I don't know, maybe I assume look a little better there, even being blown up on the TV, sure, but like the smoothing and stuff that they do, and then having like the trophies to go along with it on the PS5, just kind of fun to have that thrown in there, and it being sort of unexpected, I'd say. So yeah, I'll check that one out when it does drop, I guess, in a week or so, with that announcement expected later on today. Oh, and at this point, we're pretty much expecting Microsoft to announce different Xbox first-party games going to PlayStation almost weekly? Well, it appears one other one could be getting announced at any point in time. We can see this posted up. This is mostly over on Twitter X with Jez Gordon and Nate Haight going back and forth, mentioning Hellblade 2 maybe going to PlayStation 5, might be time for State of Play. Nate, though, responding saying soon, very soon, and we can see the PS5 and Hellblade 2 covered there. So, I mean, Hellblade 2, it would make sense. I'm not really sure how well it did on Xbox. It seemed like a lot of people, leveraged Game Pass for that title, especially after people heard that it was like a 5 or 6 hour game. Seems like one that's set up nicely for that subscription service to download and play through it. And for the most part, really just see some incredible visuals. I mean, the presentation is like unmatched for that game. And if you have it on PC, it looks even crazier than like the Series X or Series S. But this is a game that I assume would look really good on the PS5 Pro and would probably see a nice resurgence in terms of sales in general going to that platform. But I wouldn't be shocked if this was one that just gets randomly announced, kind of like what we've seen so far with something like Forza Horizon 5, where they just show up on Twitter and like, hey, it's coming to PlayStation at some point in the spring or maybe over the summer. So that's kind of how I expect the Hellblade 2 announcement to go. So I guess just keep an eye out because they could drop that at any point in time. And guys, some of the quick news out of the way. Let's get into the bigger stuff. Let's start right away with Sony and their State of Play that will be taking place later this afternoon. We can see this over on PlayStation Blog. They say State of Play is back tomorrow, February 12th. Tune in live for news and updates on great games coming to PS5. The show celebrates a creative and unique selection of exciting games from studios around the world. The 40-plus minute show begins February 12th, 2 p.m. Pacific, 5 p.m. Eastern Time, and will be broadcast in English and Japanese. See you tomorrow. So the good thing here is it's 40-plus minutes, so clearly there's a lot of anticipation around there's being a bunch of games that will be showcased, and I did write down a bunch of them. Some seem more likely than others, I'll say, as there has at least been some interactions on social media from official accounts or developers, some just being mentioned by people online who have some credibility around leaking games, others of course being linked to like different ratings boards. So let's start actually from the top here. These are in kind of no particular order. Venom from Insomniac, we saw that in the big Insomniac leak. Seems like that would be set up nicely for this holiday, and while I don't think they have to announce it at this State of Play because they could wait to say over the summer and get a little closer, they could at least get that marketing train rolling, and if not that, I mean, Wolverine's been out there somewhere for years and years now. Might not be a bad idea to remind people that it is still coming. Okay, now outside of that, there was something interesting that happened on Reddit yesterday. And that had to do with Hell Is Us, which launches September 4th. That was shown to be correct. So the source here mentions God of War Remasters, like a collection that coming out this year. Okay? And this is from Feeling Examination 6. And I mean, it's always kind of it's hit or miss with a lot of these different Reddit accounts that pop up, but when they get something like that right, people of course pay a bit more attention. And this isn't the first time we've heard of the idea of a remastered collection from some of the old God of War games. It also lines up with Sony's internal metrics, showing that the most streamed PS3 title on PlayStation Plus are the old God of War games. So all that lines up makes sense, and it wouldn't shock me if yes, it got announced here and then it came out later on, maybe in the summertime, so just a few months before its release. Now, the big question here, and it is the poll question, will Microsoft be here? Because they do have release dates. For example, they would want to mention Indiana Jones, Forza Horizon 5, but we've been going into this week thinking that there could be Starfield in some spot. And for a while it was like, okay, they could just announce it on their social media feed like they've been doing. Or could Microsoft make a big statement here and actually have Starfield in a State of Play and the announcement, and it's coming out, say, over the summer or maybe fall 2025. That would be pretty big. I mean, just in general, it's weird to consider Microsoft showing up at a Sony showcase. But here we are. It's very different now, right? Compared to even just a few years ago. at this point. So I guess it wouldn't shock me if Starfield was there, and it would sell well, I feel like, on the PlayStation 5. And of course, the PS5 Pro, it'd be interesting to see how it performs there, especially since the 60 FPS mode is available now on the Xbox Series after a patch that happened later on. Ghost of Yotei, of course, needs a release date. It's apparently coming out this year, so this would be one that I would expect to see here and have a release date. I mean, you feel like you want to get things rolling along with your schedule set up, so you're going to need at least some dates to show here. This one makes sense. Lost Soul aside, another one that should see a release date, I feel like, especially after their social media account interacted with the State of Play announcement. And that apparently also coming out this year. It's been in development for quite some time, and it seemed like we got extra funding. So I have some higher expectations, I'd say, for Lost Soul aside that I did previously. Death Stranding 2, as we already mentioned, should get a release date here and see more about it at South by Southwest. And we did have some Sonic stuff that started to leak out. We also had to get interaction on social media. Sonic Racing Crossroads, I feel like will be here. It'll be a big third-party entry, and we had some screenshots and stuff leak out online. So it seems to me like this one is almost guaranteed to have an announcement soon. It would make sense to be at the State of Play. I'd also expect Capcom to be here. I mean, Monster Hunter Wilds probably get another big push ahead of its release later on this month. I mean, Sony would want that. Obviously, Capcom would want it as well. We also saw Resident Evil 5 and 6 get new ratings, and it seems like that's lining up for some sort of election or just re-releasing each individual one. And the big one that I think would be awesome to see would be Resident Evil 9. We're kind of on that cadence now to where we should start hearing about it, and we know that Sony and Capcom do kind of work together here to announce different Resident Evil games, so it makes sense. Now, the other thing that's kind of interesting about this is we could see a new IP from an unnamed studio that would be working with Sony, and that would be for something called Project Ooze. This has been ongoing for a while, as it was spotted, I think last year, from what I remember, and it looked kind of like almost a sci-fi style game, so keep an eye out for that one, all right, because I'm curious how that turns out. And, of course, with Sony, live service. Are we going to see, say, Fair Games here, that Horizon multiplayer that's been long rumored and discussed, or Marathon? Because if Sony's going to have, say, 2 live service games this year, they're going to want to at least get the ball rolling here on one of these, starting in February for the first half, and then another one in the second half. I assume Fair Games would be up first, since we heard about it a while ago now. But who knows, maybe they just say, you know what, Horizon multiplayer, that's our best shot currently, let's just get this thing out there. And of course, I'm going to throw my usual Bloodborne remaster remake in there because eventually you got to be right, and why not? We'll just keep throwing it out there and see if eventually it does stick. But I think it should be a pretty fun show. I know that expectations are going to be pretty high for this, considering right now Sony is typically pretty quiet for long stretches. You feel like they want to start setting things up not only for this year, but also start setting things up for like the second half of the PlayStation 5 life, and start filling out the calendar, not just with third party, but also some first party stuff. So hey, we'll find out later on today at 5 p.m. Eastern time on 40+ minutes State of Play. Next up, let's stick with Sony here for a minute with a PlayStation 5 bundle. Now, this is coming way of Bilbo, who's been very, very good about this stuff, probably because they have access somewhere to like back-end retail listings and SKUs and stuff. So let's take a look. This posted up over on D-Labs, translated using Google. Says Sony is continuing a strategy of marketing new PlayStation 5 packs most recently. New PS5 Monster Hunter Wilds packs have been announced in Japan. Now, it just seems to be the PlayStation 5 with Monster Hunter Wilds, but of course that can work to sell systems quickly in Japan with something like Monster Hunter, which is very, very strong there. Astrobot, the multi-award-winning game, including Game of the Year for 2024, is reportedly getting a new PS5 bundle. This bundle is expected to be available in Europe and North America, at least. The bundle would include a PS5 standard console with the disk drive, as well as a download code for the game Astrobot with an expected release date of March 13, 2025. That's still really annoying, by the way, that this happens pretty much across the industry at this point. You don't get a physical copy, whether it's a cartridge from Nintendo or a disc from Microsoft or from Sony. They always go with the download code. You used to actually get, I promise, you used to get physical copies of games in these bundles, like a disc. You would have that in there. But they just don't do that. I'm sure it's cheaper, I guess, to package it in, and you can technically have that download code go with just a digital edition system. But this does mention that it's a disc-based standard console. So I'm not really sure why they didn't just put it on a disc. Either way, having an Astrobot bundle is interesting to have that now. I mean, I guess they wanted to get the initial wave of sales out the door to where they get to, like, say 2 million sold. And then now we'll drop it in with the system. And I mean, look, Astrobot is a very good mascot for Sony and their PlayStation 5, and it would make sense that this would be a good general audience game to package in with the system, because Astro's Playroom works really well to teach you how to use the DualSense controller and all of its features, and then Astrobot is that technically just much more expanded on and really built out as a high-quality 3D platforming game that pretty much anyone can have a lot of fun with. So it makes sense, and it also makes me wonder if maybe we will get just more content for Astrobot this year. At the very least, they got to brag a little bit and put the Game of the Year trophy in there from the Game Awards. That would be actually a pretty funny level for them to be like, oh yeah, the last thing you unlock is the Game of the Year trophy that they gave us on stage. Hey, you know what? If they want to flex like that, that's fine. Put it in the game, it'd be kind of fun. But either way, Astrobot, awesome game. If you haven't picked it up, definitely worth checking out. And I guess if you don't own a PS5 yet, you've been holding out for the Astrobot bundle, just a few more weeks, so sit tight. And in our last bit of news, let's talk about Monster Hunter Wilds and Capcom, because they were asked by Game Reactor about the Switch 2 and the potential for Monster Hunter Wilds on that platform that Nintendo has shown us the hardware for, and one game with Mario Kart. We're still waiting for that April 2nd blowout, if you will, for all the different games and software, pricing, release date. But still, a lot of these developers and publishers are going to be asked about the system and see if they can get any kind of information out of them. Well, Capcom answered in a very peculiar way, I'll say. We can see this, though, posted up. This is translated over on Game Reactor. This is from the producer, Ryozo Tsushimoto. It says, of course, regarding Monster Hunter Wilds platforms, we don't have anything extra to announce beyond what's already there. But we're also kind of in the same position as everyone else with Switch 2. It's such a new announcement. We need to take our time in the near future to get to know exactly the nature of the hardware and how we'll best use it. And that's something that's going to be in the future for us. Okay. Does anyone believe that Capcom doesn't have not only one, but like multiple Switch 2 dev kits? I mean, come on. Obviously, they're not going to be like, yeah, Monster Hunter Wilds is going to the Switch 2. You'll find out about that April 2nd. I wasn't supposed to tell you that now because we're technically under NDA, but hey, Monster Hunter Wilds. I get that they're going to just be like, nothing to announce there. It's just funny the way they play it off as, oh, who knows about this? It's new to us too. Didn't know it was a thing until last month when everyone else found out. Now, would Monster Hunter Wilds go to the Switch 2? That's actually a very good question, because Monster Hunter World, like that, alongside of Monster Hunter Rise, worked out really well for Capcom. They had that running alongside of the Switch Monster Hunter with Rise, and World sold well, Rise sold well, and then they took Rise and then moved it over to PlayStation and Xbox. While that is just more development because you have to make two Monster Hunter games, I do wonder if Capcom even minds. Like, hey, yeah, Nintendo has its own Monster Hunter that we sell crazy amounts of in Japan, and then later on we'll get more sales going to other platforms. But would it be easier for them to have one Monster Hunter game they can just focus on that's across all platforms and add on content there? It's hard to say because it did work incredibly well with their most recent couple of outings, so maybe they'll still continue down that path. But I wouldn't mind if Capcom did consolidate down to one Monster Hunter game that they could support and then make another one later on, so they can free themselves up for other projects. Because that is the one thing that I know people really like Monster Hunter, that's great. But when you get a company that gets so focused in Capcom's case, Monster Hunter, Resident Evil, Monster Hunter, Resident Evil, you're like, okay, you guys gonna have time for other stuff? They seem to be, because we're getting Onimusha, we're getting Okami 2 and others, but it still makes you think, will they fall into that slump of, wow, these games are getting really expensive. Let's just keep defaulting back to the handful of games that we know are really successful and not take many chances. So that's my only thing. I wouldn't mind them saying, you know what, one Monster Hunter game, let's go explore this massive backlog of IPs that we have, which, again, they seem to be doing. But maybe they go, you know what, let's take a swing at Dino Crisis. Why not? Something there. So I'm sure Monster Hunter will do really well for them, but I kind of feel like now would be the time with where the Switch 2 we believe is going to be, which is a bit more in line than the Switch is now with the PS5 and the Xbox Series, to just have Monster Hunter Wilds across the board and then do some other stuff alongside of it. And before we go to the comment of the day, we'll take a look at the poll that I posted up yesterday. Whereas, will Microsoft have a first-party game shown during the State of Play? Okay, 61% are just like, yeah, of course they'll be there. Why wouldn't they? It's Microsoft and Xbox. They'll be in that PlayStation show. And then 39% say no. I guess the better question would have been, will Phil Spencer be in that? Can you imagine if you're watching a State of Play and the PlayStation logo pops up? And then here comes Phil Spencer talking about how they games for everyone, we're putting them everywhere, and then you see like Halo Master Chief Collection or Starfield or something. That'd be kind of wild, but that's just where we are now. Things have really changed the landscape of gaming. It's certainly not like how it was, again, 5 years ago. I mean, 10 years ago, wildly different. And we'll finish up with the comment of the day as you're seeing here. This is from 0DN, number 4, Mr. 4. That probably makes sense to people out there, but either way, 0DN says, I want to take this opportunity of being one of the first comments to thank John for creating content daily and being consistent for such a long time. First of all, thank you, 0DN. And I've seen these comments as I've put these videos out, so I do appreciate it. But, you know, I was asked recently from, say, a peer, they're like, how many more generations do you think you have to be, like, doing this?
You know what I'm saying? So if it was just Nintendo, let's just say theoretically speaking, hypothetically speaking, if it was just Nintendo, there would be no grifters. There would be no grifting audience or community. The Xbox, the PS5 and the Xbox Series has, like I said, has elevated these people. And I'm not blaming all that. It's also some of these game developers are dumb as hell. Like they're doing things to invite this stupidity. Don't invite it. Like, I'm not just blaming them because they're allowed to talk about whatever they want to talk about. But at the same time, some of these game developers are making dumb decisions with some of these games that their stuff is just like, we don't need to worry about that, man. Like, stop doing that. Stop putting that in the game. Just make a game. Just make a game. And if you want to do whatever you want to do, just commit money to that. Throw money into where those communities need it. You know what I'm saying? Like, you don't got to try to force stuff or whatever. So it's like, to me, it's a combination of all of it that creates this trash generation. Because you go on Twitter, that's the only thing that you see, the discourse that you see. Every game, you'll see it pop up, Avowed or this or that, and it's just annoying. Like I said, some of it is legit, but a lot of it is annoying. And that game discourse is part of this generation. You can't avoid it. It's just part of the generation. It just is. So that's the problem. That's part of the problem. I'm not saying it's the main problem, but it's part of the problem. So there's that. Another reason why this generation is garbage is because gamers voted with their wallets. Gamers told us this is what they want. The problem is that gamers voted for graphics. Gamers voted for better graphics and better this and better that. And that's what you got. You got that. You got better graphics. You got that. So when they get what they want, sometimes, oh, maybe I didn't actually want this. So there's a variety of reasons, man. There's a variety of reasons why this is happening. Arkham's Grim, thank you for the tune-in tier pledge, man. I appreciate that. Let's see here. Thank you so much. Hey, what's up, Neo Blitz? What is good? Shout-outs. Thank you so much for the support, Mr. Arkham. Appreciate that. Thank you for the membership. OJ, would you please explain Xenoblade Chronicles multiplayer real quick? I can play with friends. Thank you. Yes, you can. You can play with friends, but they haven't defined the how exactly the online multiplayer is going to work in this version of the game. So yeah, you can group up to 4 friends in the game, but I guess you can have like silos of 32 back on the Wii U. But we gotta wait and see. Nintendo will probably put out a trailer detailing what the online is. So just hold tight. All thumbs, y'all. We're gonna hold the line. I'm about to get ready for some drivers soon. Great News Players got another anime episode written up. Focus on it now. Let's go. Hey, shout out to Bad Scent. I mean, multiplayer Chronicles X says 32. Yeah, once again, you can go into like silos of up to 32 people, and like you can rent out like a friend's, person to use in your single player game. But it doesn't have, at least the Wii U version doesn't have 32 players online like all at the same time. No. Definitely these grifters are being comfortable and annoying recently. Yeah, they definitely are. Yo, Criosa Bomb with the chow chow. Let's go.
This generation was great for me.
Okay.
Street Fighter 6 and Monster Hunter Wilds gifted an S rank for me.
Okay.
The grifters used to bother me until I realized that I'm the one playing the games. Say what will interest me. I won't be influenced.
Yeah, and I think that once again, that's what you have to do, right? Like, but I'll say this, like the fact that you have to, you know, you have to adjust in that type of way. Like I said, this is quite possibly the most annoying that it's ever been for all. Like I miss the Dexit or whatever. I miss the stupid. The console fanboy wars are like 10 times less annoying than this. I'd rather take the fanboy wars than this. Because at least the fanboy wars, people were actually playing the games, you know? I don't think these people are playing anything. Shout out to Crioso Bomb. Thank you so much for the big Jojo Dono. I appreciate that. Let's go, guys. 12 on the combo board. We got full combo and effects rewards in today, so let's get it going. My man Crioso, you are the Hokage Extreme Ninja. 3 more combos until we get to a 15-minute extension. So yeah. Is the Big Pokemon Presents Switch Game multiplayer project that's leaked a while ago? I don't know if it is, Alucard. I gotta see what Mr. Andres Restart has to say, so we're gonna check out his video. Yeah, exactly. People purposely creating divides, etc., not just Gen gaming, but the Gen media. Yeah, exactly, bro. It's what's up, Deadlock? Welcome. What's up, the Great Walk? If I haven't said hi to you, make sure you say hi in the chat. If I miss your comments, say what up. I think Commander DNB has a sock account here. Like I said, these gifters only talk about anti-consumer whenever it's Nintendo. Well, I think you're mistaking what you're talking about, like grifters. Like people that talk about anti-consumer like Nintendo. I actually don't have a problem with those people. Those people, at least compared to grifters, no. Like, because like the grifter, like the hardcore grifters don't talk about anti-Nintendo. They don't really talk about that. Like those are just the people who just don't like Nintendo, like that have been around. Those are the same people, you know. So I'm separating those people because those people that doesn't get any views if you say Nintendo's anti-consumer. Like nobody cares, you know. Yes, we have to just turn off annoyances and try harder to enjoy. People have gotten very petty. Nothing makes them happy except complaining. And listen, I don't mind like actual legit in-depth like complaining if it's like if you bring evidence and you bring logic and you bring facts or if you bring at least, you know, objective commentary. But a lot of it is, oh, this is stupid because it does this one thing, or you know, and it's just like that doesn't help anything. There's no, you're adding nothing of value. But a lot of people are simplistic, man, and the simplistic people, they're looking for their messiahs. You know, they're looking for people to follow. So that's really what it comes down to. You think the majority of us will be able to get our Switches on day one? I don't know what the majority of us means. We'll have to wait and see. So we'll see. It looks like they're going to have a lot of Switches ready available for Switch 2, or a lot of Switch 2s available, but we'll have to wait and see. There's been things in the game I don't like and just ignore it because it's just the game and most times doesn't affect my enjoyment. Exactly. I mean, that's kind of how I've always seen it. It's like if there's something that I don't like, and I don't like it, you gotta move on. But these people, like I said, with the advent of, you know, these communities and being able to make a ton of money off of, like I said, certain things, there are people that are willing to exploit that, you know, even at the cost of ethical journalism, I would say. One thing I don't understand is who consumes this style of garbage content. Could it be me? I know, bro. I'm telling you. But let's continue on here, though. Let's continue on. But like I said, I think that like this generation, I personally think this generation is not bad. I just think that it's just, like I said, it's because of Microsoft and Sony and their games. Like if Microsoft, here's the thing, the whole grifter point, that point would be almost irrelevant if Microsoft and Sony actually did, if Sony didn't mess up, because Sony's already delivered some pretty good games this gen. But if Sony didn't mess up with the whole live service thing and Microsoft was on point, I think that this gen would have been so much better. But I think that since they kind of, this was almost like a stopgap gen for both of them, you know? Shaw X with the $10 subscriptors, bad writing, overinflated budgets. failed live service game pursuits, chasing graphics over art style, bad character designs, bad world designs, games coming out broken, ready to go on. Exactly. It's a combination of all of those. Exactly. Like, you know, the bad game design, some bad game, like it's just some over, like, for example, like the live service stuff, right? Look at the Suicide Squad. They spent 6-7 years on Suicide Squad. They spent 8 years on Concord. They spent 8 years on Concord to shut it down in 2 weeks. How is that not a colossal failure? They spent 7 years on Suicide Squad for it to be shut down, or for it to basically not get any more updates anymore and be done. Like, this is a colossal fail. It's not just those two. There are game after game after game after game. Sony's canceled like 6 or 7 live service games, and there's been tons of cancellations. Imagine if half of those or more were high-quality single-player experiences, or high-quality single-player experiences with multiplayer components. You know, and like we used to get, like Uncharted 2, for example, high-quality single-player game with a nice. Nowhere near as in-depth as most of the multiplayer games today, but still very good, and they added slowly to it. They built it up over time. You know, so I think that's the problem that I have, is that they want to, that a lot of developers want to kill off the regular multiplayer. It's either you go all in on multiplayer and microtransactions and live service, or not, you know, or you just make a single player game. Which is weird. Like, Nintendo's like the last bastion of, oh yeah, here's a multiplayer game with a nice single player, or here's a single player game that also has a multiplayer too, and kind of like vice versa, right? Like they're like Splatoon, you know, ARMS single player is not great, but it's there. You know, there's been like a number of other games, you know, Super Smash Brothers. It's multiplayer game for the most part, but it's got plenty of single player content in there. Not the best, but it's still like if you want to play by yourself, you can. You know, so. I think that's like one of the issues that we're having, you know, overall with just so much stuff, man. And it just seems I don't know, man. It just seems lame. Shout out to my man Shot X with the big $10 dono. Yes, sir, Shot X. Let's get you up on the board. You are now tied up with Kriyosu Bomb for the Okage and Stream Ninja. Anybody does $10 or more, you can tie up or beat out Shot X and Kriyosu Bomb on the board. Yo, 22. We got our first overclock. Let's go. Let me know how this sounds, guys. I've been tuning the audio. Let's go.
Overclock Buster!
I think it sounds a lot better. I think that was a lot better. Big love, guys. Thank you so much. We got a 15-minute extension on today's stream. Next one up is at 30 on the combo board, and we will get 30 minutes extended on tonight's stream. 2 hours and 30 minutes. Baldur's Gate 3 had co-op. Yeah, Baldur's Gate 3 had co-op as well. Let's see, the saddest thing, you could have 2 Arkham games instead of that garbage. Yeah, I mean, I don't know if they would have been able to make 2 Arkham games because of the focus on graphics, but if they didn't focus on graphics, and they just decided to focus on the art style in the game, like let's say we got like one animated, kind of like cartoonish looking Arkham game, right, or Batman game, then like another more realistic one. So one that took like 3 years to make, and one that took like 4 or 5 years to make. I think that would have been ideal, you know, that would have been so good. Like 2 different teams getting us 2 games, right? And then maybe with a little bit of Rocksteady's, guidance for like the other game. They could have hired somebody else to do that, but instead it took like 7 years to make one stupid Suicide Squad game, and it sucked, you know, and then they delayed it for a year. So it's just like, it's bad, man. The Concord thing is the worst thing that I've ever seen, though. Like that game started in 2016. They put $400 million rumorly into the game, and then it just flopped. Completely flopped. You know? Says accidentally watched the Nintendo Live vid today. Yeah, listen, I'm not hating on Nintendo Live. Actually, I have been hating on Nintendo Live, but I'm not trying to sit there and say you guys don't watch it. If you guys want to watch, they put out content, you know, so it is what it is. But yeah, give me 1 second. But shout out, man. I appreciate you. Sorry, guys. Just getting over the last bit of a cold that I have. I feel a lot better. I feel a lot better than I did a few days ago. I think the stats on people's spending habits on games show why they're trying to get the live service, since the average consumer seems to play 1 live service game and another title per year. Yeah, I think that's it. The problem is that the big are just eating everything else. Fortnite, Call of Duty, Marvel Rivals, I don't know, mobile games, but like in terms of the console space, there aren't a ton of console games that are doing really, really well. So, would you consider someone like Penguin Zero a grifter? No, I would not. Let's see here. Hey, shout out to David. We appreciate that, man. Thank you. Also, but with the Raw, let's be real. A lot of these people complain still about the games they complain. I mean, I'm not sure. About that maybe. Hey, what's up, Anthony Cooper? Don't forget about Arkham Knights. Arkham Knights. Yeah, that game wasn't very good. But yeah, they messed that game up too because that game was supposed to have more live service elements. They had to strip it out. So that game they were trying to turn into a little bit of a live service nonsense too. Then they had to. You can tell by just the way that the game was made. The game was made to be like a live service drop-in type of game. They said, they pulled the plug on that last second, and they delayed it. You know, so they delayed it I think a couple times. So that game was supposed to be more of a live service game too. That was the funny thing about that game. So yeah. Yeah, you got a membership last stream that we had, Much Bro, or Muck Bro. They need to learn to make games that we want to play, not rip off Fortnite and GTA Online. Those games have so much. Yeah, and I think GTA, right? People just play GTA, Fortnite, Call of Duty, Madden, FIFA, or FC. There's only like a small number of games that command all of the console revenue dollars. But a lot of these developers are like, hey, if we can make one hit that even makes like 10% of what Fortnite makes, then we're set for life. We're set for forever. But the problem is that you're not going to get that. What you should do is that you should just create a normal game and then hope that the multiplayer component becomes something big where people like and then expand upon that. Don't create it. Like I always say, man, if you create a YouTube channel, think like trying to make it blow up, trying to follow a formula, the chances of that actually happening are slim unless you legitimately follow everything to the T and you have no soul, right? But a lot of times you try to create something based off the emulation of what you see, and ends up backfiring. So usually what people do is they create something that's just true to what you're good at, then you end up getting a much better product, you know? Yeah, you might not be as successful as other people or other games or whatever, but you can still have a lot of success and continue on. And I think that a lot of developers rather just, they'll go for broke, you know, go for broke attitude, you know? So yeah. What's up, Cracker Jacks? Welcome to the stream, man. Good to see you here as well. What is good? All right, good night, Nate. Shout outs, man. Thanks for coming out to the stream. Ninja Turtles is coming to Call of Duty. Oh my gosh, no. I mean, that makes sense. There's a lot of different. I mean, Nicki Minaj is in Call of Duty, so they'll put anything that they can get licensing revenue from or make it more popular. So yeah. MK1 isn't as good as MK11 because it's trying to be a live service, another series ruined by live service. I don't know the inner workings of MK1. Don't they have like season passes and stuff? What's the live service elements of that game? Let's see here. OJ did buy the Nicki Minaj skin too. I did buy the Nicki Minaj skin. I have it. It's all pink. And her butt is big. She gets shot in the butt way too much. She sticks out like a sore thumb, dude. Like I'm literally like a walking target with that stupid Nicki Minaj outfit on. Literally, like people, like it's ridiculous. And then, oh my god, not only that, but like freaking Dark Synchron. We're playing, and we're trying to win this victory royale. And Dark Synchron is gooning over my Nicki Minaj outfit. He's like, oh yeah, and I'm like, dude, watch the front because you know somebody might come in here because we're waiting for the circle to close. And this little Dark is freaking gooning. And we get shot. Somebody busts in. He doesn't turn around in time. And we get shot and we die. Dude, I was actually kind of tilted because this dude's gooning over my Nicki Minaj skin. I'm dead serious. You can go watch the stream. I will pull up. I mean, it's a long stream. Andre sponsored it. Andre Wine sponsored it. But yeah, this dude's gooning over my Nicki Minaj skin because it's pretty realistic. Let me see here. Which Call of Duty did I don't even remember what Call of Duty I played. I don't remember. I know I played Call of Duty at some point. I think it was Alive. Let's see here. I don't remember which one it was. But anyway, yeah, I played it though. I played on a random live, and yeah, it sucked, man. Dark was watching that back. Yeah, he was, man. It was Warzone last year. Yeah, it was like Warzone. Yeah, it was Warzone. I don't know if I can find it though. I don't remember which one. Okay, yeah, first time ever playing. I called it COD Warzone. So it was my first time ever playing COD Warzone. So yeah, it's unlisted for some reason. I should have definitely made it not unlisted, but here's the link. If you guys want to watch it. I thought it was Fortnite. We played Fortnite back in the day, but there's the link. Shout out to 7 Deal with the $1.99. Says even OJ, no, we get Mystic Quest boss theme. Yeah, that's a good theme. Mystic Quest boss theme. 24 on the board. We're only 6 combos away from this next combo break. Let's go, guys. 30 minutes. Let's see here. Mystic. So if you guys have any other reasons why this generation is trash, PS5 and Xbox Series generation is trash, I mainly blame Microsoft and Sony for the lack of big banger first-party games. That's who I'm blaming for this. Sony in particular, I'm blaming them. Microsoft too, but I'm blaming Sony because Sony had a lot of, they have a lot of IP, they have a lot of good stuff, and they chase live service and flopped. So that's the reason why. Like it's because their live service flopped. So we get less games from Sony that brings heat, you know? Yeah, we used to play Fortnite like back in like 2018, 2019, like when it first came out on the Switch. I think I played it on PC too. Sony closing Japan Studio was also a big mistake. I mean, yeah, that's part of it because then you get less like double-A or single-player games. Like they would always bring, yeah, they weren't the biggest sellers, but they bring some balance and autonomy to like the overall lineup of like the okay, they're not going to create like the God of War, Ragnarok, the Horizon, like the third-person cinematic. They're going to create something like more gaming, like the Gravity Rush or like you know something like that. So I think that was also a problem. Also, no Little Big Planet. I mean, that also zapped some of the creativity that Sony has in their lineup. So I mean, they just had like a Little Big Planet platformer, which I mean, it's not bad, but it's not great. It's not as good as like Little Big Planet 1 or 2. So I think that's also a problem as well. And like Dreams didn't turn out. They thought Dreams was going to be like that replacement, and it ended up not being like. It's a lot of shoddily made games. I mean, there are some good stuff in Dreams, but ultimately, it's just I don't want to play a bunch of crappy games. Like a lot of those games suck. So yeah. That was a problem. Like Stellar Blade, but we agree this gen was not the best. I mean, yeah, Stellar Blade, I mean, that was just a game that Sony, knowing that they messed up with the live service stuff, they just went and bought. Like, that game was supposed to be multi-platform. So, while yes, I'll give them credit for, I guess, picking it up and publishing it. Like, the game was going to be a multi-platform game, and Sony just decided to just say, yoink, you know? So I guess, but like I'm looking for them to use their IPs, right? Like, so I think that's the. the issue. For me, at least. But I like Stellar Blade as well. I think Stellar Blade's very good. The reason I want to play Enchanted Arms, I don't know why. Enchanted Arms, that's an interesting game. Very interesting game. It's pretty obvious these companies started treating the industry like purely a business. I think that, you know, clearly, I mean, you gotta treat it like a business because it is one, but you gotta make sure that you gotta realize that not everything is live service, not everything. So, I mean, like, I don't want to be too hard on them, but at the same time, it's like, the lack of awareness is definitely not good, right? Yeah, Nintendo always stood by their IPs. I can't believe I play more than Xbox and PS5 these days. I think that, like, Nintendo's in a little bit of a unique situation because they don't have to spend as much money on the games, and so they can put out games faster. And then also their fan base has also been conditioned that graphics aren't the greatest thing in the world, you know? So, like, they can release something that doesn't have the greatest thing in the world graphics, and that's not going to be a problem for a lot of the base. Like, it's going to be a problem for some, but it's not going to be a problem overall. So, you get that variety in the lineup. You can have something like Metroid Dread that can be $60 and it can sell decently enough, or you can have something like Pikmin 4, which is, you know, also another game that's not the highest of the food chain. It's not the Mario Zeldas, but that can also do really well. So, it helps fill in the gaps, right? Or you can have something like Super Mario RPG, where that's such a simplistic, cheap game to make compared to what we usually, compared to like big AAA games, but it was hype. And once again, like, it's hard because it's one of those things to where it's unique to kind of Nintendo because they have this long history of games. Microsoft can't do that as much because they have like the backwards compatibility program, which you can just play anything that you want for the most part, and like a lot of stuff's already on PC. Sony, it's kind of like they have their PlayStation Plus, but like it doesn't have the same type of nostalgia bait, and people aren't modern PlayStation fans aren't as knowledgeable and care as much about the old games, right? Because Sony's identity has completely changed from PS1 in terms of games that they put out and games that they like the most and games that people are buying, right? You look at the best sellers on PS1, they are not the best sellers on PS5 or PS4. They've completely code switched, you know, code changed up from what they were. So when you release an old school game from like a PS1 or PS2, Sony fans, like today's fans are like, yeah, okay. It's not as big of a deal if you remake it or you re-release it because what people buy has changed dramatically on Sony. Whereas Nintendo, it's always been like, yeah, you got your Mario and Zelda, like that's what people love. It's still relevant today. So if you release an old school game or you remake an old Mario game or you redo old Zelda, people get all excited about it because that's still what Nintendo rocks with today, you know? Or even like a Metroid Prime Remaster, right? Metroid's still something that Nintendo rocks with today. Not the biggest seller, doesn't get the most games, but people still rock with it. So it's exciting to see Metroid Prime Remaster. And it'll be exciting to see Metroid Prime 2, Metroid Prime 3, or Twilight Princess and Wind Waker, or, you know, Fire Emblem. Right, Fire Emblem, that's a game that doesn't sell that like crazy compared to Mario and Zelda, but it's still awesome. And whenever we get another remake, we're going to be excited about it because Fire Emblem's still very much relevant and a multi-million seller in today's day. People still care about it. So I think that's the difference with, you know, Nintendo can, you know, lay upon the nostalgia, but that nostalgia's earned. You see what I'm saying? And it's earned because they still make those games in today's day. They still represent it. You know, so a lot of people like to accuse it of nostalgia bait, but it's like the nostalgia bait is earned because they keep on making games in those franchises, you know? So yeah. Nintendo's able to invest in older IP niche series, success in their bigger projects. Yeah. Speaking of Stellar Blade, the fact that Sony goes and buys exclusives kind of hurts this gen. I don't really think it hurts the gen. In my opinion, I don't think them buying Stellar Blade or the China Hero games, I don't think that really hurts the gen. Doesn't really matter to me. Like, I mean, I guess for some who don't have a PS5, maybe it might. But I don't really think it matters too much, to be honest. Like, I don't think it hurts the gen. Because it's still a good game that releases. Like, Stellar Blade releasing multi-platform or not, it's not like, oh, the gen would have been better if it was released multi-platform. I mean, I'm not sure about that. Because I still play the game regardless. I'm totally susceptible to nostalgia. Mario Sunshine release got me very hyped. Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with it. As long as it's done in a good way, you know. What's up, Trump 7 OG, Double OG? Welcome, brother. How you doing today? Can you see my comments? I can see your comments, Mr. Davis. What's good, man? How you doing today? Welcome. So I think that's like the biggest thing for me, at least, man. It's like it's hard because so many people, you know, so many people have different opinions on this. CR Worlds with the 3.
OJ,
What's up?
did you hear the latest rumor about Pokemon? I made a video on that last night. I feel like it could happen, but let's take it with a submarine load of salt.
I didn't hear about it yet. Oh, actually, I did hear about it, but I haven't heard exactly what it's about. I was watching Andres Restart's video, and then I have to stop watching it so I can get ready for this. So yeah. So we're gonna watch Andres' video. I'm gonna type it on this video so we can check it out. I want to hear what he has to say, and I'm gonna put a link so you guys can check out the video too. Make sure you guys check it out. Go click on it. I want to hear what he has to say. Okay, yeah, because he made a new video on Pokemon. So yeah, we're gonna watch that in a bit. Rocket creativity, Western developers suck. I think that is definitely more of a Western problem thing than a Japanese problem. I think that games like Metaphor, Fantasia, obviously Stellar Blade. There's been a lot of good stuff. I mean, Astrobot's been really good too. So, shout out to CR Worlds though, man. I appreciate you thanking for the $3. And yeah, we're 3 combos away from the next combo breaker. Let's go. I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. I can't complain. Only buying some. Lenny says I only buy 4 games I know I'm gonna love for the time and hard-earned money. To be honest, yeah, that's how a lot of people are right now. That's how it is. Okay, so what is Gen 1, Gen 2, Gen 3 getting remastered as a collection? Okay. So maybe we don't have to watch the video now. Gen 1, but I want to see where it came from. I want to see like exactly where it came from. I think it's Pyoro, right? Central Leaks in Pyoro. So we'll get into that. People would go nuts at that. They would win the world if that happened. What's up, J2 Chronicles? Welcome. So what is Kraken Jacks and Joseph arguing about? That's what I want to know. What's the debate here, so we can have a proper debate on this, guys? Let's hear it. What are the arguments on both sides? I'm quite curious about how much first-party output Switch 2 will do, because the CEO admit that development game will take difficult due to graphic increase. You just said it's going to take longer and it'll be a little bit more difficult, but I'm pretty sure the output will be pretty good. Like, I don't think it's going to be like dramatically worse than the Switch 1. I think it's going to be on par or a little bit worse. Let's see, because Nintendo's actually hired more devs and done more stuff since then, so they've also increased in size too. So it's not like they're like. If you say, oh man, it's going to take way longer, the pace is like, yeah, if you keep all your staff the same, then yeah, it's going to be, but like if you increase your staff, and they actually bought a port studio as well, so they bought, what's that studio? The people that made Mortal Kombat 11, Mortal Kombat 1 on the Switch, that studio, they bought that studio, so. Let's see, rumors nowadays are 99% just the hopium and speculation. A lot are. So yeah. Let's see, funny enough, some Japanese VG devs have tried to make the live service games too, but all failed. Look at that MMO from Bandai Namco, Blue Protocol. Oh, that was Foam. I guess Blue Protocol's coming back. And yeah, Foam Stars flopped. Also, I would say that, like, what was the other? Babylon's Fall. Platinum Games, that was a colossal flop. Platinum Games as well. So yeah, that was pretty bad. Please remember, Central's Leaks reporter, not a leaks reporter, not a leaker. They're full of it. Yeah, I have Central blocked on Twitter because they're stupid. So yeah, but I guess Pyoro's involved, so that's the only reason why I'm entertaining this. But I don't even listen to anything that Central leaks. I have them blocked on Twitter or muted because they're morons. But yeah. Terra League, basically saying there might be a multiplayer. There might be multiplayer game. We're gonna watch what Andres has to say, then we'll get down to the bottom of it. All right, Eva? Shiver, yeah, Shivering Entertainment or Shiver Entertainment. There you go. Shivering Isles, Oblivion, Elder Scrolls Oblivion. Party Man says, for me, I don't even like all Nintendo games. I always respect the amount of unique experiences provided to me. This is the biggest thing next to Fun Factor. Yeah, I mean, I don't think anybody likes every single. Like, I'm not a fan of every single Nintendo game. There's games that I'm more of a fan of than not. I usually play all of them just for work, but I'm not like a super fan of like Pikmin. I'm not a super fan of like Chibi Robo. I'm not a super fan of like, you know, I'm not a super fan of like F-Zero. There's like a number of franchises that I'm not a super fan of. But like, I'm thinking, okay, cool. It's good to have variety, you know. Pikmin 4 was great though. No, I played all the Pikmin games. I played them all. I'm just not a super fan, but they're good. Like Pikmin 4 is really good. I actually like it. I like it's probably my favorite one out of all. You know. What's up, Sean Smith? Welcome. I really want Nintendo to do live service only one. I want to see how they do it. They already do live service. It's called Splatoon. It's called Super Smash Bros. That's their version of live service. The thing is that you've been tricked, you've been poisoned and tricked into thinking that live service is what these morons are doing, like Fortnite and all that. That's just a half-baked game that they've tricked people into spending infinitely on. What real live service is supposed to be like, oh, okay, it can be a game, it can be live elements that are added into the game. Nintendo already does that. It's called Splatoon. I don't want to see them sit there and make one live where they have no single player, where they have no single player content, where they just make you pushing a payload back and forth. Is that what you want? You want something like that? Absolutely not. That's what modern live service is. It's just make a game and